Wish granted, right? So this is pretty exciting, getting your fight with Adrian Yanez, and just to closed mouths don't get fed, right?
Right. We've been campaigning back and forth for the Dr. Pepper kid, and we're going to show it once and for all that my junk food of choice is better than Adrian's junk food of choice.
And I guess for people who maybe weren't following the back and forth from the beginning, just give a little background on how this fight came together.
Yeah, so I went on Twitter one day, and someone said, oh, you know who would be a great fight? Like Randy Costa versus Adrian Yanez. And I chimed in, I was like, shit, yeah, that would be a good fight. And then someone was like, oh, say something mean and like make it happen, whatever. I was like, well, I'm not really a shit-talking type, but I know he likes Dr. Pepper, and that soda sucks, so I guess I can go after that.
What's your soda of choice?
I'm not a soda drinker at all. I'm a big candy guy.
What's your favorite candy?
Come on, Mike Bohn. It's Reese's. Everybody knows that it's Reese's.
There you go. So what do you just make of him? He's obviously coming in, getting some hype behind him and stuff. I'm sure the goal is to steal that.
Yeah, man. I think we're kind of both in the same spot of our careers. We're both coming off 2 big knockouts. Obviously, our age is on our side. We're both very exciting fighters. I think he's very good. I don't think he's a slouch at all. I don't want to fight him because I dislike him or because he sucks. I want to fight him for the opposite. One, because he's like a real, actual martial artist. Like he's a nice guy. He's a positive like role model for the sport, I guess you would say, or advocate for the sport. And then he's obviously a savage kickboxer, a savage MMA fighter. That makes for a very exciting fight. And if we can get in front of fans, I mean, come on, we'll steal the show for sure.
Yeah, it seems like you're going to. I mean, fans coming back for a lot of events. I don't know about the fight nights, but at least the pay-per-views and stuff like that, we're getting full crowds now.
Yeah, man. You know, I think we know what states are going to probably have the full crowds, and I can understand why they're going to have the fight nights at probably still the Apex with no fans. But I mean, you're going to see these big pay-per-views coming up, and they're really going to spice them up because it's not like the Apex anymore. It's not like the Apex pay-per-views. You're going to actually have to put butts in seats, so you're going to be spicing them up. You're going to see the big names like McGregor and John Jones and Ngannou and all these big names kind of coming up, and Nate Diaz coming out of nowhere. And you know, we got to put the butts in seats, and you know, I'm excited, man. I haven't fought in front of fans since October 2019 or something like that. And Yanez has never fought in front of fans, in front of UFC fans, so it would be really cool, and I hope we can get it.
Yeah, that's the hope that you guys can fight in Houston.
Yeah, man, Houston would be cool. I know he's from Houston. We're campaigning for Houston. I've never been to Texas. It would be cool, man. A good old-fashioned hoedown in Houston, Texas would be fun.
Yeah, and I mean, even if it's enemy territory a little bit for you.
Yeah, man, I don't really care about that. You know, I fought in Boston. And I'm from Boston. Somebody had to come to Boston, Massachusetts, and fight, you know, in my home territory. So I guess it's only right that I pay it forward and do someone else a favor. I want him to get the opportunity to fight his hometown, and I know what it's like. I want to beat him. I'm going to go there to beat him. I'm going to win that fight. But I want him to experience like the crowd and that love. There's no real like. No comparison from the love from your hometown that you actually get, especially at a UFC event. So, you know, I want him to feel that. It's a really cool feeling.
Yeah, and you mentioned the good starts for you guys in the UFC, you know, 2 young guys, promising records and stuff. When you were searching for this fight, was part of you like, it may not happen because maybe this is something that could happen years down the line when we're kind of much more built up in the UFC? Yeah,
man, you know, that's definitely a way that I looked at it, which is why I wasn't really like campaigning too hard for it. It was kind of like just joke and banter back and forth between Adrian and I. You typically don't see like a prospect versus prospect thing, just, you know, 3 fights of the UFC career. But on the flip side, if you line us up right now, what are we going to be, you know, a couple years down the line? I mean, look at, you know, Dustin and Max, what they did, Dustin and Connor, what they did. You know, we have all these, you know, big fights that have turned into bigger rematches down the road, so why can't we be part of that?
Yeah, that's completely a great outlook on it too. And also this division is just, you know, there's nowhere to hide, right? Like you got to do the fights now. It's not like there's going to be anyone easy out there.
Dude, outside like the top 10, like the number 50 guy can beat the number 11 guy on any given day. It's just the division is, some of the divisions in the UFC are very top heavy. Bantamweight is not one of those divisions. Everybody is a fucking savage in the Bantamweight division, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, what do you think about the top there? There's obviously, you know, Aljamain's going to be out for a bit. He just got neck surgery and everything. There's this weird campaign, you know, that he should be stripped or something, but I don't really see that when, you know, Peter Yan between fights just had as long as he'll probably have between fights.
Yeah, man, I don't understand the hate that Aljamain's getting. Aljamain, you can say whatever he wanted about if you say he's faking it or whatever, but like the dude, it was a blatant knee to a grounded opponent. He doesn't really have to justify his decision. The dude almost got knocked out by a completely blatant illegal knee. Let him take the time that he wants to take. The division's super, you know, that top 5 right now was insane. I'm excited for my boy Rob Font to get his hands on Garbrandt and get that big win. I'm pumped for him, man. I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So what do you think this fight with Adrian looks like?
Fucking throw paint against the wall, and hopefully it's going to be bananas, dude. I'm going to go out there and throw my limbs around without any regard for safety, and I imagine he's going to do the same, and it's going to be a fun fight.
And what, obviously not one you want to look past, but what do you think a win here kind of does for your career in terms of setting you up for the back half of 2021?
I think a win over Adrian does a lot of big things, and a win over me does a lot of big things for Adrian. We can both equally benefit from big wins over each other. And I think even with this fight, the loser doesn't really necessarily lose stock per se. But a win over Adrian sets me up for a big 2020. I think I can touch, just outside that top 15 or the top 15 by the time, the end of the year comes, beginning of next year, if I get a big win over Adrian.